Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. This time I'll call on Jerry Little to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Jerry?
Okay. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray you'll give our council the wisdom and the courage to do what is best for our employees, our city, and our citizens here tonight. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jerry. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve by Jim Davis and second by Katie Startzman? Any comments or discussion on the motion to approve the agenda? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our June 18, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion to approve? By Jerry Little. Is there a second? By Cora Jane Wilson. Is there any discussion, changes that are needed, or edits? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from June 18, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is a proclamation. The Berea Citizen, our hometown newspaper, has had a significant milestone, 125 years. And I'll read the proclamation, and I'll note that our publisher, Keith Taylor's here in the audience to accept the proclamation on behalf of the Citizen. The Berea Citizen celebrating 125 years, whereas the Berea Citizen was founded in 1899 and delivered along Chestnut Street when it was a dirt road, and has been a staple in Berea and Madison County for 125 years. And whereas the paper first served as a school newspaper for Berea College and was the brainchild of the late Berea College president William G. Frost, and remained connected to Berea College until it became a private newspaper in 1984. And whereas the paper officially became the Berea Citizen on July 3rd, 1952. And whereas the goal and mission of the newspaper has always been to provide informative news to its readers. And whereas the Berea Citizen has always been the voice of the community and survived the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and 2 global pandemics. And whereas during those most difficult times, the newspaper continued to deliver local news to its readers in the community without interruption. And whereas the Citizen staff delivers the news in print and online while offering readers and advertisers a variety of ways to get their news in an ever-changing landscape of technology. And whereas freedom of the press is critical in our society, and fair and balanced coverage of local meetings and events are crucial in a world that can be filled with misinformation through unverified sources. And whereas the Berea Citizen is owned by Nolan Group Media, based in Manchester, Kentucky, published by Keith Taylor, who assumed that position of publisher on May 1, 2020, with the beginning of the pandemic, is owned by Jay Nolan, and vice president is Glenn Gray. And whereas the newspaper is the highest circulated newspaper in Madison County, Kentucky, based on the numbers presented to the Postal Service in yearly circulation filing in September 2023. And whereas the newspaper stands as one of the few locally owned newspapers in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and continues to be printed in Kentucky at J. Frank Publishing in London, Kentucky. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Fraley, Mayor of the City of Berea, do hereby proclaim the week of July 1 through July 8, 2024 as Berea Citizen Week throughout the city of Berea, Kentucky. So, Keith, I would invite you to come up, and I would ask our publisher emeritus of the Berea Citizen to please join me down here next to Keith to help present this proclamation to Keith. And if the council members would squeeze in, please. So we can all get a picture.
chair. I hate doing this. Aw, great.
You're hot. Hey, Keith. First publication in 1899. I didn't see anybody's names in there, so we must be all right. Nobody's here anyway. Sorry, Keith, go ahead. You have the floor.
I just got through putting that paper together. I'm kidding. Funny thing is, I think in 2021 we moved to a new location. And so I cleaned out the old office and I got up into the attic and saw a bunch of old newspapers. I thought, what in the world have I got into? So I found these papers, and we have probably about 25 or 30 of these, probably 50 of them left, I think. And I believe they were reproduced in '99 when we celebrated 100 years. So I certainly appreciate the mayor and the council for recognizing the Berea Citizen. One of my first stories I ever did was in high school. Berea Community High School with the pirate, and it appeared in the Berea Citizen. So I think that was back in '87, and it's an honor and a joy to be able to serve as publisher of the Berea Citizen, and I appreciate the community support, I appreciate the council support, I appreciate the engagement, I appreciate the fact that we still do everything the right way, reporting the news fair and balanced, and I do appreciate my staff. I didn't want to miss anybody, so I want to make sure I jotted down their names. Becca Bingham is our advertising manager, and she's been with me a couple of years. Heather Phillips is my receptionist and front office administrative assistant. Libby Horn, who used to be my administrative assistant, she is now doing off-site work, which is public records and obituaries and things of that nature. Tammy Gibbons goes to the plant every Wednesday, picks up the papers and makes sure they're in the stores and at the post office. So you get those on Thursday mornings. Marvin Rose, who came with me tonight, Marvin has been volunteering. He actually takes our newspapers to the nursing home and to places that are sponsored by businesses. So we take those to nursing homes and the housing authority. He goes to a couple other places. And so Marvin helped me out on Thursday. And I have a new Richmond courier, her name is Linda. So we're actually doing more vac sales in Richmond, so we got a couple more places in Richmond. But I certainly do appreciate, it's an honor to be able to lead a newspaper. And Teresa called me, I think it was in 2018, and I was on spring break, and she said, you want to come work for me? I was like, Teresa, I'm a sports guy. What's a sports guy going to do with you when you need a news guy? But she brought me on, and it worked, and it clicked, and I do the same approach as sports writing as I do news writing. It's the same thing. You report the fact, and you go from there, and I'm extremely honored and humbled to be the publisher of the Berea Citizen, and we will continue to deliver local news, accuracy, and be as fair as we can. It's kind of funny, those papers you have in your hand, back when they came out, there was no internet, there was no television, barely any radio. So their mission in those days was to deliver state, local, and national news. in the past 125 years, it has kind of changed to where the dynamic now is we deliver local news and let everybody else do national and state. So the mission, but our mission will never change. Local news, even in the internet technology world, we are still a vehicle for information. And that vehicle for information is to get people news and information they need. And I thank you guys for this proclamation, and my staff certainly appreciates it, and I'm very humbled and honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Does everybody give him a hand? Appreciate you being here, Keith, and also for Keith, and also for Teresa and all the people that have worked at the Citizen that came before you guys even. I'm grateful to see that we have an outstanding hometown newspaper that covers local events, and very important source of news for many, many people in our community and beyond. I know you also have, you mail them out to a lot of folks who live out of town and still want the hometown news. So thanks, Keith, and again, thank you for being here and for all that you do. All right, moving forward, the next item on the agenda is department head reports, and I'm happy to welcome back Amanda Haney, our administrator for the Codes and Planning Department. Amanda, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. As I always say, the Codes and Planning Department is a small department with lots of jobs. So I'm going to start with our current residential permits and inspections. We have 83 new single-family dwellings currently under construction. So those are primarily at Harvest Park and Stony Creek. 4 duplexes, and then 29 other permits for additions, decks, pools, those kind of things. For commercial plan review permits and inspections, as you can see, Starbucks is under construction. The chapel addition to Davis and Powell Funeral Home was just completed. In fact, I think they had their grand opening last Friday. The Edwards building for Berea College, the plan review is complete, so they are in the process of obtaining permits, and you should see construction starting very soon on that job site. The Hutchins Library for Berea College is under renovation. Frost building for Berea College is under renovation. There's an addition to the State Farm building on Plaza Drive. Hitachi Clean Room project. Novellus currently has 2 projects, a foundation for a future expansion and a bag house. Circle K has renovations at both locations. There's a new laundromat on Prince Royal, so certainly a welcomed thing for the community, something that we needed. Plans are being submitted for review to the old theater building on Chestnut Street. We've just recently met with the architect. Stevenson Hall at Berea College will be getting a renovation. Several other projects that are in the design phase that we are meeting with engineers and architects. And then lastly, on the commercial side, Kentucky Department of Housing, Building and Construction is intending to adopt a new code cycle, the 2024 code. So I serve on that code change committee. And so we will start this comparison of the old code to the new code before its adoption. And then it goes through this process where people can recommend certain code changes. Because Kentucky, what happens is they adopt the international code, so it'll be the 2024 code cycle, and then they make amendments to that code. So that process is just beginning. For code enforcement, there are 31 active complaints for grass, trash, and nuisance. For planning and zoning, we are working on updates to our land management and development ordinance. We've had 1 public hearing. That was last Tuesday. There were some requested changes in that hearing, so we will go back for a work session and a business session this coming Tuesday. I am hoping that that will be to City Council for adoption of the ordinance within the next couple weeks to month. We've talked about housing study on the planning and zoning side several times. We've considered doing our own, but what has recently been announced is Kentucky Housing Corporation contracted with Bowen National, and they are doing a 3-phase housing gap analysis. They will publish, so they are doing that analysis county by county and actually publishing the results of that housing study. The end of it and the total results will actually come out at the KLC conference in September. So we are hoping to be able to use that information to better make housing decisions for Berea and to kind of get that information in our comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan, after we get the LMDO finished, will be the next big project that we will work on, and that will start. So I'll be working in this next quarter to select a consultant to update that document for us, and of course it's a requirement by KRS statute that that gets updated every 5 years. So that will be our big project for 2025. Planning Commission has just approved a townhouse development on Ridgewood Drive. There are always several minor plats, so just somebody, you know, gaining a little strip of land, or, you know, something that's 3 or less lots. Always several of those. Right now there are 8 that we are that are in review. We expect the final plat for Stony View Estates to come in. We've been working with them. We've been out there, looked at their infrastructure. That will open up an additional 55 house lots, kind of on the backside of Stony Creek. And then another thing that should be in front of you guys pretty quickly, within the next meeting or two, is a zone change for a 50-lot subdivision and storage building development along Minnelis Road. So that zone change was at the Planning Commission meeting just within this last month. For GIS, we are actively mapping the city's stormwater system. So this is a requirement of our MS4 program, but also will be hugely beneficial for engineers and developers to be able to more quickly get their stormwater plans together. We have sent out floodplain letters to local lenders and realtors, which is a requirement of FEMA to provide this information to those, that floodplain information to those groups. And then I will also put in a plug for our Trash for Cash program. That is a way for nonprofit groups, school groups, to make $100 a mile to pick up litter. So we've had 6 of those groups this year so far, and just encourage anyone who's interested in earning a little extra cash for their nonprofit group to come out, take a half a day, pick up some litter. We will come pick up the bags. We supply the bags, the grabbers, all the things that you need. We just need the people, and we will pay you. So a good way for groups to get some extra money. On OpenGov specifically, and that application is through our online portal on our website. So we continue to work on OpenGov to make it more useful for us and to the public. In the last few months, we've made the fireworks permit active through that portal, and we've had really good feedback from those temporary fireworks tents. So I happened to ask one of the fireworks retailers. They actually have to get a lot of permits, and not all of those are through us. And so I asked them if they liked our online permitting portal, and he responded, "Oh gosh, no, it's terrible." And I was like, "Oh no." And he said, no, wait a minute. That wasn't your all's, that was the state's. So I couldn't help but to tell you all, he said, your all's is actually okay. And so sometimes okay is a good thing, right? And so overall, though, we've had really good feedback. And again, just try to continue to find ways to make that work for us, so, and for the public. So right now, we are working on a request for zoning letters, so that's something that actually comes in pretty often. People, appraisals want zoning letters, realtors want zoning letters, just to know if what the zone is and if the use there is appropriate. So we're working on that online request form through OpenGov, and then we're working on a short-term rental registration. And then just continued education and outreach, because we really want our contractors and design professionals to use this software to their advantage. Lastly, for capital projects, Brian is working on the Folk Center window project. That's really looking good if you haven't driven by there. The toll building, designed for a concession stand, and the basketball court paving. And then it's certainly a busy time for us, and there are 6 of us in our office, and I just want to publicly recognize our codes and planning staff, because they really work hard for the city. They really work hard for our community, and I certainly couldn't do it without them. So I appreciate your time and happy to take any questions.
Jerry?
I'd like to say one thing. I want to thank you, Amanda, you and your staff, for this land management that you've put a lot of time y'all have in it, and it's going to be a big improvement. It's going to help our people and developers, and I just want to thank you and your staff. You did an excellent job, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions for Amanda? Amanda, I'll just add one note, talking about your staff. As I was sitting here listening to you, and I'm kind of thinking about how important codes and planning is to the bigger picture with business development, economic development, because you and your staff operate with a business-friendly attitude, trying to help our businesses while also maintaining public safety with new buildings and revisions, which is necessary for all of us to make sure our structures and our improvements are safe, but also being fair and consistent with the application of the statewide building code that we all have to operate under, regardless of what city you're in. So for not only the job that you do, but the way you do it in a business-friendly manner, and this is for you and all your staff members, I'm very grateful for what you do, because that helps not only in one way, but in multiple ways, especially as we develop our economy and our residential housing stock. So thank you for what you do, and be sure and thank the staff for us as well. Jerry?
I want to say one more thing, Amanda. You know, codes is a very important thing, like Bruce said. I don't hear many complaints anymore from anybody. It seems like you're treating everybody's doing pretty good, and they're getting by with the new program, the computer, and I just want to thank y'all again, okay? Because it's aggravating when you hear a lot of complaints all the time.
It is, and I will say that, most people don't understand our role. So I really appreciate that, Mayor, because it is definitely a public safety stance, and what we do is to try to afford public safety and fire safety, so that the fire department doesn't have to roll, so that people can get out of buildings safely, and so many other things. But I have people in the public who will say, it's my property, why can't, how can you tell me what I can do? And the most important thing about that is again, what people don't understand is because we have a building department, and because council and the mayor and administration all these years have supported that, kept that, people's insurance rates are lower than if you don't have those things. So through ISO, and you hear the fire department talking about ISO and the reasons that, when we have good public protection, and we have a sound safety built into the way that we inspect and the way that we operate, it truly does impact what the citizens' life and what they pay for their insurance, and in so many other ways that people just generally, I think, don't realize. So I appreciate that, and thank
You're
you for
welcome.
your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Amanda.
Yep.
Would any other department heads like to address the council? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is public comment. Would any members of the public like to address the council? Martin, if you'll come up and state your name and address for the record, please. And reminder that we ask you to limit comments to 3 minutes and no naming of any person individually.
I can do
You
that.
have the
Martin
floor.
Richards, 107 Holly Street. Wasn't planning on saying anything, but listen to Amanda. I do want to add, and I've been on planning and zoning, and have attended a number of the regional Bluegrass Planning Council. And then from my experience as a general contractor in Central Kentucky, dealing with Lexington primarily, but overall, Berea Planning and Zoning has got it together. I think that out ahead in addressing some of the issues that other communities are trying to catch up to. Hear it all the time in the planning world about trying to make, the process of planning and development business friendly and easy to navigate. It is easy in Berea, right? And when I say it easy, I don't mean it's lackadaisical. I mean it's clear, it's straightforward. So I just want to speak highly of Amanda and the staff, but just as a community, how well the community is doing in this area, especially comparative to other communities. That's it.
Thank you, Martin. Any other members of the public like to address the council? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to the city administrator's report. And I'll recognize Rose Beverly. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see you tonight, council members. Good thing we have a pretty efficient meeting because I have a lot for you tonight. So I'm just kidding. It's pretty easy stuff. So the first thing I want to ask for tonight is a line overage. It seems like we've been doing that a lot, but it's the end of the year and we have a lot to clean up. So this one was approved in this budget that we're in now, so the 24-25 budget. But we have the auditors here, and so now they're asking us to move it back to the 23-24 budget. And that's because that's when we entered into this contract. So this is for a line overage in line 200-9100-54600 purchase of electricity for the 23-24 budget. So the true up payment, we budgeted and approved for the new KYMEA budget. We were planning to pay it out of this coming budget. So that's the one that we're asking to go over on. I don't know exactly what we will be over because we haven't got our June electricity bill yet. And that would be coming out of that purchase electricity line. That's what that line is called. So, but what I am asking for is a motion to pay that bill out of that line item for last year's, fiscal year's budget. And the amount of that will be 2.2 million. Now, if you remember, the original quote we got from them was 3.3 million. So this is much better, but either way, we don't have enough of that because we weren't planning to do it.
I'll make a motion to approve that. And we know this was a coming. This is nothing new. We thought, like you say, it's gonna be in the next budget, and it is a little less than we thought it would be, so.
So for the record,
2 million's a lot of money, but still, it's not as much as we thought. We had to do it. We had no choice. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
I hear a motion by Jerry Little and a second by Ron Terrell. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the overage and put it in the 23-24 budget for line item 200-9100-54600? Jim?
Is this for KEMA or
For the new purchase power agreement for KYMEA.
has nothing to do with AMP?
No,
Okay.
no.
Any additional discussion before we vote? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the line overage as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the line overage is approved. Rose?
Thank you. So lastly, we I have a message from the Parks Department. The Parks Department would like to invite everyone to the city's Independence Day celebration. The event begins Thursday at 6 p.m. behind Berea Community School at Dorson Stadium. There will be a lot of activities for the kids, including inflatables, face painting, games, and prizes. Several food vendors will be on site with tasty treats, and at 8 p.m., a talented local band, Rock of Ages, will hit the stage with a high-energy 80s rock concert. And the fireworks show starts at 10 p.m. Sounds like a great time. We just want to have one more chance to let the community know that's this Thursday. And I will take any questions that you have.
Rose, I'll add one thing on the fireworks, if you don't mind. I know we have a lot of parking in the parking lot by Dorson Stadium. That's our biggest parking lot. That's open to the public, but also over by what we call the skate park and behind the Folk Center. There's a big parking area over there, and there's a walking path where you can walk through if people would like to park in a different location where it's not so crowded and walk over to Dorson Stadium. So
Unbelievable, Mayor Fraley gave up my parking spot, my secret parking spot information.
I'll put one of those orange cones out
Yeah.
reserved for Rose.
But that is great information.
But thank you, and we'll open it up for questions or comments for Rose and Ronnie. We'll go to Ronnie, and then I think Katie. No, Jim. Okay, Ronnie, and then Jim.
The parking down here, I noticed the school had a wire all the way to the front parking. What, in the past, I think they've been parking in front of the school and going in on the right. But they've wired and are bringing tags.
Okay.
Are they not permitting people to park there?
That is a great question. I was not aware of that. Priscilla, do you know the answer to that question?
Are you talking about around the, like on Ellipse Street? So Public Works and Parks Maintenance have put up T-posts with wire and ribbon to keep people from driving over the curb. There are marked entrances into the overflow parking.
So you're gonna have signs up where people know they can park. I mean, because
Yeah.
I've seen them in years. I mean, it's been filled up.
A few years ago, police started doing that for safety, and we're appreciative of that. But that's what it is. And yeah, there'll be a sign where you can go park in there. And the school's nice enough to let us use that lot.
Thank you, Priscilla. Other questions or comments for Rose? Jim?
The weatherman, I guess he's still talking about rain
Don't leave yet,
Thursday.
Scylla.
I mean, I hope it doesn't, but is there an alternate date?
It's not going to rain. Well, we don't have a makeup date. We'll do the best we can. In the 25 years I've been doing this, there's been 2 nights when we've been able to only let off the fireworks. We had to cancel everything else because of the storms. You don't want to put anybody at risk. But if we do have some rain, you know, we may postpone it a little. We may move locations of certain things. We'll just have to keep people updated on our Facebook page and just do the best we can, you know. But if the fireworks go off, we kind of consider it a successful 4th of July. So
Thank you, Priscilla.
So, can I add one more
Rose?
thing?
Certainly.
Okay. It's not related to fireworks. I just want to say, when we were doing our pay study, you know, James Arndt, he came in and helped us with that. And he's a professional in his field, and he works with cities all over the country doing this type of work. And of course, he had to take each department individually and look at how many people they have working, what is the scope of their work, and how much work they're doing. And he, I think, called me twice to make sure that the codes department with that workload really only had the amount of people that they have in there doing the work. He was like, I cannot believe that you have people who can handle that much work that professionally. And they do. I mean, they really have, but you don't know it. When I walk in there, you don't see them run around like, you know, they're really handling it well. And then you also hear a lot of laughter. They're enjoying each other's company. They're coming in and making a good work environment, not just for them, but for the rest of us too, because it's good to work around people who are cheerful and positive when they come to work, even though you know they have a lot going on and they take a lot of heat. And so that is definitely a testament to great leadership. So we appreciate you and your team, and I could not just add that in. So, and that is all that I have, unless there's any more
Thank
questions.
you, Rose. Other questions or comments for Rose? All right, Rose, thank you. Good report. Tonight, we'll move directly into council comments, and I'll begin with Ronnie Terrell. Ronnie. Okay, Cora Jane Wilson.
Just thank everybody that's here and wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July.
Thank you, Cora Jane. Jerry Little.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. I'm glad to see the chief back. Looks like he's made it. And I want to talk about something that affects probably not everybody here in Brea, but it affects a lot of people. It's our brush and limb pickup. You know, it's a service that we offer to everybody, and it's supposed on the 3rd week of the month, the truck will come around. If you got some brush or limbs or something in a neat pile, we'll pick it up. And try not to get it in the street gutters or block the sidewalks with it. And we, you know, you gotta be, we're supposed to pick up loads, what we're supposed to pick up. And it's a really good service, and I just hope people appreciates and sort of honors the system a little bit that we've got. That's and like I say, it's the 3rd week of the month, and you're supposed to have, you know, the not over 6 foot, I think, and all that. But I just want to. It's a really good service, and I just hope the people appreciates it and know to use it. That's all I've got. And thank everybody for coming. Have a good holiday.
Thank you, Jerry. Next, Katie Starzman.
Well, I just have to compliment Amanda too. I think it's been really neat to see this LMDO process happen, and I was only able to attend one of the Planning Commission meetings where y'all were going over that, but it just feels really good how that process is happening with so much input, inviting the council to those meetings, and then I mean, I know we're required to do a hearing, but the hearing, I had a few citizens reach out, and it was so smooth because the document is on our website, and just everything about that process feels really, really great, and the way this process is supposed to work. So thank you, and thank you to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Katie. Next, we'll move to Teresa Centers.
Katie said that also well. I won't repeat it all, but that you have done a ton of work on that, you and the commission, and we appreciate it. And it seems very well done to me at this point. And congratulations, Keith, and 125 years at the Citizens, kind of unbelievable. Everybody have a safe and happy Independence Day.
Thank you, Teresa. And for the last word, Jim Davis.
Well, as far as the citizens concerned, Teresa was there the first 100 years. So, Amanda, congratulations. Thank you for your report and your crew and everything you all do, as well as planning and zoning. I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July, and remind everybody to be mindful of their neighbors as we set off fireworks and cut it off at a decent hour so we don't get a lot of complaints. Thank you.
And a decent day.
And a decent day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? By Jerry Little. Is there a second? By Teresa Centers. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. The meeting